Real estate agent compensation. Let's talk about how we get paid. I want to give you some different concepts of how you think about it because unfortunately our industry's kind of gone downhill with the way they think about compensation. It's almost like a war with the consumer to get them to pay what we're worth, air quotes inserted, because, they never want to pay. They're always looking to beat us up. But frankly, what we bring to the table always isn't the best either. So let's talk about some ideas. First thing is you get paid in direct proportion to the problems you solve. Your ability to solve problems, to fix issues, your ability to take and make their process as smooth as possible is what justifies the compensation you're looking for. If you can't solve problems, if you're not looking at the deal that you're going into as, this is my opportunity to take them through what could be a very miserable and difficult and potentially expensive and problem-laden process and smooth that road out, then you're not actually thinking through what the customer really wants from you. A line a broker friend of mine said to me a long time ago that is what he used to start in his career with customers, is he used to tell customers, my job is to make sure you have no surprises. Now, here's the question. Have you done the work to be the kind of agent that can say that and have it be actually true to your customer? Do you manage your emotional state well enough? Do you know well enough how to do this thing and how to resolve the common and even not so common problems that come up? Now, if you're a newer agent and you're listening to that, are you doing the work to become that agent as quickly as you can? These are ideas. Shortening the timeline from being the agent that doesn't know things to the agent that is well-versed. That could take months or that could take decades. Some agents are making the same mistake 30 years into their business that they were making in year one. They don't learn from their own mistakes. Learn from your own mistakes. Understand your job is to come in and solve problems, to fix stuff. The salary we have, the compensation that we have at Real Estate Guys is unlimited. What sets the ceiling are the habits that you have. So what are the habits that we have? Guys, habits are the things that are like the default. You know how when you hit print on your computer and it brings up immediately, do you mean to print to the default printer? What are your default settings? Did you choose them or did you fall into them? Are they bad habits that just kind of came because they were easier? Do you get to the end of the night and say, go to the gym, Netflix and Oreos? Well, I could tell you which one's likely to be a bad habit would be Netflix and Oreos, right? We need to take, because we're in business for ourselves, because we're the CEO of our operation, we have to take a look at how we behave. We have to look overall at it and say, all right, what do I want to keep and what's got to go? Now, just because you decide something's got to go doesn't mean you can actually get rid of it. Believe it or not, some of the hardest work I do in my business is dealing with my most difficult employee, myself. There's all the times I want to make certain decisions and I don't, but I recognize it as a problem that I, as the CEO of my operation, have with my staff. A good CEO understands the staff. A good CEO evaluates the staff well to see where they are. And a good CEO sets things up in the way that's most likely to get the best results out of the staff. You are your staff. How can you set things up? If you've been trying the same things over and over and over again to get rid of bad habits, maybe it's time to take a step back assessment and say, when have I been successful at getting myself to do things that I don't want to do? Can I take and make it that way here? One of the things that I do with myself, for example, is I'm a little bit competitive. I will make it a fake made-up competition in my own mind to see if I can get me to do what I want to do. Like, all right, I don't think you could get 6 of these done in a day. I think you're too soft. I don't think you got what it takes to get 6 of your reports done in a day. And on the inside, I know because of the way that I am, I know my personal brain damage, I've assessed the staff. There's a little voice inside me that says, oh yeah? I'll show you. As my mental CEO is going, Mwahaha. I'm manipulating my staff into doing exactly what I want. Because I know me well, and I know that little game with myself will help me get out of me more like what I want to be and less like what my bad habits are going to help me to be. And doing that over and over again starts to build new, better habits that makes it easier and easier to perform at a higher level. So keep that clearly in mind. Your role as the CEO, and the role of the CEO is to build a better staff, to take the people you work with, including you, and help the people that work for you get the most out of themselves. That's what a great boss does. Be a great boss to yourself. Stop chasing checks, guys. Stop chasing deals. Start building pipelines. Start building customers. I want you to closing customers, not deals. We have a horrible customer retention rate in our industry. The reason why I speak all over the country and all over the world on real estate is because there's this huge hole where we do all this work and spend all this money to bring a customer in, close a deal, and they come back 12% of the time nationally. 88% of the time they use a different agent. That means that there's something in the way that we do deals in mainstream real estate that gives us a net result of a customer that's not loyal. Now, I know they have all these studies that say it's because agents don't follow up. Customers at closing said they would use the same agent again, yakety schmackety. They just got a house. They are in an emotionally elated state. Of course, they're going to say they use the same agent again, but given the distance of time to think about it, they realize just how replaceable they feel like that agent was. And this other person came over and they seemed really nice, so they wanted to give them a shot. If the other person seeming really nice is a good enough reason for them to change agents after you've worked with them for months, would you say that maybe there was a failure on your part of making the case you should have while you work with them? That likability is not nearly enough to replace what you bring to the table. Understand that's what we're negotiating. When you're building your pipelines, guys, when you're building your customers that are loyal and come back, it's going to come from you establishing when you work with them that it's not going to be easy to replace what I do with some other agent that's out there. That's how you build your real pipelines. All the advertising stuff they're going to teach you and everything is what we do. That's the advertising budget is the price we pay to replace the customers that we're otherwise losing. If you're a few years into this business and you're still spending a bunch of money on advertising, ask yourself, why aren't the people I've worked with coming back? Why aren't they all coming back? Because anything short of 100% customer retention of the customers you actually want to keep should be seen as room for improvement in your business. All right, you got to know your numbers, compensation amounts, splits, taxes, and time. You need to take and make sure that you're using your time well. You have two scarce resources in life. We tend to prioritize money and we forget about time. You only have so much time. In that time, you have to both make the money and improve the quality of the staff. You have to invest in making yourself a better agent. Now, sometimes it's working deals or what you learn in working deals that can do that, but it's also going outside there and engaging educational information, bringing educational information in, podcasts, mastermind groups, networking communities, whatever, where you're learning stuff. You're staying curious, you're learning more. But you need to know your numbers. You need to know how much your time is worth. You need to make sure that if I'm going to get ready to hire somebody, for instance, that if my time is worth $200 an hour, I'm going to pay them significantly less than that. My time is worth $200 an hour if I'm going to use the time that I freed up by hiring this person to go do the work that I do that's worth $200 an hour. If I'm going to take and hire this person and then go watch Judge Judy, well, my Judge Judy time is worth $0 an hour, right? So you're going to need to make sure to know your numbers and run it like a business, all right? Never confuse gross income with real profit. It is one of the key mistakes that people make. Hey, I just closed this great commission, yada, yada, yada. How much did you actually spend in time and money to get that customer to come in? I can't tell you how many agents I know that they bring in a great gross number, but when you net out all the expenses they're paying and all the advertising stuff, all the marketing stuff, everything else, their net number is below what somebody at minimum wage would make. You need to take and not confuse gross with what actually is net. What do you have to spend in order to get to your net? In real estate investment analysis, it's all about getting to net operating income. In any business, it's all about net. It's not how much I brought in, it's how much I got to keep. That's the critical thing. And then when you really want to turn it to 11, when you really want to get great at this thing, how much do I get to keep after the IRS takes their cut? A little hint, a little tip for you. You want that number to be better? What you get to keep after IRS takes their cut? Start buying more real estate. Being a real estate investor, especially as a real estate agent, gives us all kinds of tax benefits that makes it super worthwhile. You want to make your numbers look better? You want to make it work better? Start buying more of the product. Nothing's going to make you a better agent than understanding your numbers, and nothing's going to make you understand your product or your numbers better than buying the product that you're trying to get other people to buy. Get high in your own supply, folks. It's not a good advice in the drug business, but we're not in the drug business. Start buying more real estate, start investing in your own stuff. You will understand better what your customers are concerned with, and it'll also take and help you to understand your numbers and what you're doing better. Run your business like a business. Your business will take care of you.